How did he give me HIV part 14? So let's go back to the court proceedings. So here it is now. It is around, I believe, September of 2008. September 2008. And like I say, he ended up pleading guilty, and we are at the sentencing hearing. The state attorney's office asked me, did I want to say anything, through this whole process. So, but prior to doing that, the judge is asking questions because I believe this was something that, they had already had this type of situation happen with someone prior to me, as far as, them being prosecuted and sentenced and things. But I don't think anybody in that courtroom on that day had ever witnessed on the level of it being someone who was married, okay? The bailiff mouth was dropped. The judge mouth was dropped. Everybody that was in that courtroom that day, as the prosecution was talking about different things, if everything was put out there on the table, everybody's mouth was dropped open. And so, the judge, they let the judge know, hey, she has something that she wants to read openly into the court. And so I'm going to read it to you guys. I actually put it in my book, my very first book that I wrote, which is the autobiography. I put it in this book because I wanted people to really have a full transparency of what took place on that day. So I'm going to read it to you guys so you guys can understand what it was that I said. So, and it was actually dated August 16th. So I was off about a month. So, because I put the date in here. So August 16th, 2008. To whom it may concern, Your Honor, I am writing this letter to express to you how my life has changed since I found out about my HIV status that day before Thanksgiving. It is so hard to write this letter to you because I'm still in the healing process. I'm sure by the end of this letter, I will be in tears. I've gone through emotional changes that have led me to be at one point depressed and even suicidal. I have to suffer financially because I left South Carolina and returned to Florida. I had to withdraw from school, and because I was receiving financial aid, I am forced to pay back to the Department of Education. I'm in debt with the apartment I was living in South Carolina. I have to seek counseling and learn to readjust my life in society. I'm in constant fear that everyone is watching me and that they know I have HIV. I try to use my experience as an eye-opener and do motivational speaking to men and women of all races to become aware and know their partner status. No matter how strong I try to be, my mind will never let me forget. I close my eyes and I see him, and I hear his words. He told me sitting in my car when we walked out of the doctor's office after I found out, and that was, don't tell anyone. How could I not tell anyone about something that could kill me one day and take me from the ones who love me and they not know why? What's even more painful and hurtful is that I have to learn that I was not his only victim and that my children were not his only newborn infants exposed. There are other victims in South Carolina, and to my knowledge, one other person... Sorry. That's what happened when your parents still have landline phones. Oh, gosh, that's loud. Unavailable. Telemarketers. Look, y'all getting real and raw, because I am not re-recording this. So, let's see. There are other victims in South Carolina, and to my knowledge, one other person... Leave a message after the tone. And to my knowledge, one other person has come forward with charges. I felt, as a person who respects the law, it was my duty to do what was right and file a report. How could I let this man remain free in the world knowing what he has done to me and could do to the next person? I loved my husband, but all it took was for him to open his mouth and say a few sentences to let me know his status. I asked on numerous occasions before we ever had sex, and absolutely before we got married, and was told he was fine and there was nothing to worry about. Like I told him upon finding out, he would have never known what I would have done. I'm a medical assistant, so if I decided to be with him, I would have said, okay, let's find out what we need to do to protect me. He didn't take that into consideration at all. He planned to do me like all of those before me and say nothing. God blessed me with two beautiful babies who, if not had been conceived, would have not revealed the truth. If I had not had those prenatal labs when I did, I would have not known until my next yearly physical that he had given me this horrible and deadly disease. Not only has he done this to me, but also my twins and the possibility of it being exposed. My twins had the possibility of being exposed. And I praise God every day for their current negative status. They do, however, have to be tested throughout their life. I gave birth to our twins, Michelle and Michael Martinez, on March 22nd, 2008. They were born at 23 weeks and 6 days gestation, which is only 1 day from being 6 months pregnant. My son Michael was born 1 pound 7 ounces and is almost 4 months and is still in the neonatal intensive care unit. He's had a massive bleed on the brain in all ventricles and now has hydrocephalus, which is fluid on the brain. Since birth, he has had to have 9 surgeries. Michelle was born 1 pound and 6 ounces and had a small bleed on the brain. 1 surgery and a total of 2 chest tubes. She was discharged June 24th and was sent home on oxygen and a heart monitor. Both babies are on disability and have extreme special needs and will have to be handled with extra precautions. My family has been torn by this whole situation. My mom had a sickle cell anemia crisis when I told her my status. My father suffers high blood pressure, and when he found out, he had a serious hypertension episode. I have lost the love of his family members that I truly cared about, especially his mom. Even though she knew, I can in no way hold her responsible for his actions. I was upset for her knowing and not saying anything, but overall, it was his obligation to tell me. My parents also have gone into debt because they spent thousands of dollars on our wedding because they wanted me, their only daughter, to have the wedding of my dreams. I was only married to him for 3 months before finding out I had HIV, and after leaving in January 2008. I found out that he had cheated and had affairs with many other women and possibly men. His cheating was no gossip topic. I spoke directly to 2 of the women who were involved with him while we were together. My life will never be the same again, and I will forever have the struggle. I will forever have this. I struggle every day to take 3 medications. I have never in my 25 years of life had to take medication on a regular basis, and at this age, I have to always. I know Florida offers the maximum sentence of 5 years for this crime, but I'm asking you to consider the fact that this is a lifetime death sentence that he has now placed on me. Yes, I know that things are more advanced now and I can live longer because my life has been, but my life has been altered by his rage and vendetta. Everything I do, I have to be cautious and careful. A mosquito bite, a scratch, anything that could expose anyone around me. I think a crime like this deserves punishment equal to what it causes long-term, lifetime pain, and that's way more than 5 years. In closing, my letter, Your Honor, I ask that you take into consideration when sentencing that Gregory has given me is for a lifetime. I will never be able to work because I have to be the medical caregiver to my children. I will never have a regular relationship with anyone. I'm obligated to reveal my status to anyone who I become involved in a relationship with and will face rejection. I'm sure more than acceptance. I would not wish this on anyone, and I pray the justice system keeps this man, Gregory Sean Martinez, in jail for as long as they can to prevent his obvious trend of spreading one of the world's deadliest diseases Sincerely, Renee Yvette Burgess Martinez.